relationship theory basically originated from Havel Hendricks, which took a lot of information from different psychological theoretical backgrounds, and he did an amazing job in culminating all the different theories and creating a theory which was known as the Imago couples therapy. And in his work, basically what Havel Hendricks was talking about through his own experience, having gone through a second marriage himself, that basically any couple will marry the same type of personality that they would marry in their first marriage. So what he was trying to say to us here is that couples normally marry the best and the worst qualities of their own parents. And the reason that we marry the best and worst qualities of our own parents, because marriage is the next step in becoming an adult. And how do we become an adult who is fully grown and fully developed if we don't have a healer with us, that is our partner, with us to help us in the healing process? Because our partner pushes all our buttons. And the buttons that they push is the place where we need to develop the most. But most couples refuse to accept that as such, and with the result that when their buttons get pushed, they blame the other person for the problem they're having, instead of looking at what is their own issue, because the present is impacted by the past. And our past comes and shows its ugly head in conflict, with the result that we continue with the same conflict, whether we're in the first marriage or in the second marriage, but we have a problem that repeats itself all the time. Heidi puts it beautifully, and Heidi speaks about the survival knot that we have. And that survival knot is a knot that we constantly go back to. It's our defense mechanisms. It's what helps us to survive in this world. So when Imago speaks of it, Imago speaks of the fact that we go round and round with issues from our childhood, and we don't deal with them. With the result, we end up in divorce. Where in the Imago principle it is, if you can allow yourself to go into therapy and deal with the problems through the Imago process, there's never a need for a divorce. Dialogue basically is where the two individuals sit across each other, and the one person becomes a host and one is a visitor, where the dialogue allows for one person to mirror what the partner has said without having counter debates. It's not a debate. It is genuinely a dialogue where one person states what their issues are, the other person mirrors what they said, and it is the mirror neurons in the brain. When somebody mirrors us, we feel validated, we feel heard, we feel appreciated, and in the process of the dialogue, the mirroring is extremely important. And neuroscience has shown us that there are these mirror neurons in the brain that require us to be mirrored. It's the same as when you have a little child. When a child smiles at you and you smile back at the child gives you more in return. And that process, that dance between the parent and the child continues and feels fulfilling. So in the Imago dialogue, basically what you're doing, you're mirroring what the partner has said. That partner feels heard. And then once you've heard what the problem is for that partner, you're going to make sure you're going to summarize what the partner has said to you so that the partner feels fully heard. Then you're going to validate. And validation never means agreement. Validation means putting yourself into the shoes of your partner and understanding it from your partner's perspective. And when you understand it from your partner's perspective, the partner feels understood. And then you finally empathize with the partner and say, when that happened, this is what you felt, or this is what you must feel. And the partner can mirror again and say, yes, I did, or I did not feel this. What I also felt was something else, which is extremely important. And that's the Imago dialogue. That we don't just talk about having a dialogue with your partner, that in every relationship that we have, whether it is with your child, whether it's with your employer or employee, you are able to mirror what that child is feeling or the person is feeling. And you are able to give them feedback, not on your opinion, but you can say to a child, you really don't like it when I don't want to give you sweets before dinner. That really makes you sad. And it's amazing when you mirror a child, rather than saying to the child, no, you cannot have sweets because I say so. Whereas when you mirror the child feels understood and can accept the decision that the elders make for them. So relational living is that it's not just used when we do the couples work. It is used in your everyday life, where you can understand and you can validate and you can make sense and you can understand what that person feels. So it's about living your life on the principles that you are taught there. The workshop itself is something that happens over 3 days, and it's intense, and couples are able, it's a fast-moving workshop that couples are able to experience the processes and can see examples being demonstrated to them. And these are demonstrations that are done from the group of couples that are present, and that can actually see that they're not the only people that have these problems. These are universal. And that other couples have just as many problems as they do. And that, yes, some of the things that the men complain or the women complain are not just about them, it's universal as well. So the group process is very powerful, the process of the group itself. It can be intimidating for people who are very quiet and don't want to expose what is happening in their families or in their relationship. The individual work is intense in that it's different, in that you're not doing the work over one weekend, you do it over weeks, 12 weeks that you're doing the work, or you're doing it over 6 weeks. And sometimes people lose their commitment to do it when they just see a little shift. Initially, then they think that, things are hunky-dory, and they go back and they're okay for the next 6 months or a year, and then a year later they come back because they haven't completed the process. That is the only risk that you have. That people, when they start to see, they think they've reached their final goal, which they have not. So that is the risk that there is in doing the individual work. My advice to them, don't. Not until you've seen somebody who knows how to do couples work and is genuinely involved in doing couples work and does intensive couples work with them. So would I advise them to go through the divorce? The answer is no. My answer to that is, if you haven't given this process a chance, you should not be thinking about a divorce. Once you've gone through it and you are committed and your partner is fully committed, I believe only after that should you make that decision of whether you want to go through a divorce or not. And I believe if two people are committed, any two people can make a marriage work if they want to, unless there is no addictions like alcohol and there's no violence in the family, physical violence, abuse of each other. I believe any marriage is workable.